Hare Krishna, thank you for joining the online reading session of the book The Modern Mission of Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnanandamindasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Nade Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaha Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Natale Nade Bhaktivedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Vedanta Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Come cultivation Nati Grimata Deshi Permana Mado Yesterday Veba Vidyatari Veda Guru the state Gataya Guru Gorchandra Dikai Krishna Krishna Akisha is Sivani Lakshmi yes 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 there is Yonta Pravisham Majanam Prasuttam Sanjeeva Yate Pilasatya Dasudam Jasta Chana Shona Tola Nijuru Varvanya Kritu Yeah. Vajra Sukanto Majian Samsa Vishwa Vijay. We are continuing to read from the book The Modern Mission of Srila Prabhupada, Chapter 5, Devotee Recruitment. The Krishna consciousness movement is an attempt to increase the number of pure devotees. The Krishna consciousness movement is an attempt to increase the number of pure devotees of the Supreme Lord more and more. Srila Prabhupada stated, and therefore preaching means to recruit more and more men to increase our family members. To ignite and expand a new movement requires the recruitment and training of many people. ISKCON recruitment was first done solely by Srila Prabhupada, who gradually trained his earliest disciples to assume much of this responsibility, and as they recruited and trained yet more newcomers, the movement gradually spread. The strategy was to recruit devotees, train them, and send them out to preach in new places. I wish that the number of devotees in every temple be more and more increased. Make all our temples full with many devotees. And after being trained, they should be sent to every town and village in your country so that they will be benefited as well as all others. We require hundreds and thousands of preachers. Srila Prabhupada said, and he specifically told Tamal Krishna Goswami to make hundreds and thousands of devotees. Reciprocally, Tamal Krishna Goswami noted that to bring him a garland of the jivas of new devotees was the greatest offering that I could have made for him. Wow. Garland of jivas. What a comparison. To Giriraj Das, based in Bombay, who asked whether to collect money or preach in colleges and make devotees, Prabhupada replied that conversion is our first business. Training newcomers. Having himself in the earliest days of ISKCON exemplified tact and tolerance in inducting raw recruits, Srila Prabhupada had much advice concerning the art of encouraging and engaging newcomers. We have to collect men for Krishna consciousness, and therefore we may not be harsh to them. Give them protection and instruct them so that they may not go away. Mm. We recruit devotees with great difficulty, so they must be well treated. New men may not always behave so nicely. We must be tolerant. To train a new man is like training a wild animal to be a pet. Just like a tiger is trained in the circus and later they are dancing to the tune of the master. So the point being stressed is training. The secret will be to engage them as they like to be engaged. Suppose I have got some education, I'm a business student, or I have got some skill or talent, I'm a typist or a musician or something like that. So I will like to utilize these things for Krishna only if I am encouraged in a certain way, very tactfully, and I must not be discouraged by forcing me to accept everything at first. Shaving the head, rising very early, going for Sri Sangeetam like that. No, let me come gradually. Let me also study Krishna consciousness and see how it is practical and sublime. Gradually, I may get some taste for these other things and agree to do them voluntarily and intelligently. We are not dogmatic or like an army camp. No, we are servants of Krishna. That means because we understand that Krishna is our protector under all circumstances. We have no any anxiety. So we become very liberal and tolerant upon seeing others' sinful activities. And we see them as innocent victims of Maya and we try to help them and understand the real position of life. From where is this? Oh, Prabhupada's letter. Oh, in summary, all newcomers should be welcomed and well treated. In the beginning, they may be treated leniently and gradually they will learn. However, devotees should not be overly eager to bring in fresh recruits. Newcomers should be up to the standard for temple life. If newcomers are coming and they want to live with us in the temple, they must agree to these principles without any exception before living with us. Otherwise, it is better for them to live outside and attend the class, Aarti, Prasad like that. And gradually, as they become convinced by their intelligence, they will voluntarily agree to perform the austerity or tapasya of living in the temple. But anyone who lives in the temple must follow all these principles without exception. Otherwise, they may be asked to leave outside. In brief, we live like this, you see. You like you live like this. We are not going to force anyone. Bhakta program. In the mid 1970s, Danavira Das perceived the need for a focused, structured approach to recruiting and training newcomers. Thus, the Bhakta program was born at New Dwarka, ISKCON, Los Angeles, regarding which Srila Prabhupada wrote Danavira. Your sincere endeavor to engage new devotees is very much appreciated. It is especially encouraging that these new devotees are taking on responsible service within our communities. They should follow our regulative principles, chant Hare Krishna, and engage all day in the service of Lord Krishna. That is the only way they will become satisfied. Please continue with your service. Encourage everyone to take up this Krishna conscious life. It's at a high standard by your own good example. Having successfully pioneered this initiative in Los Angeles, Danavira introduced it in London, whence he wrote Srila Prabhupada. I have been engaged under the supervision of your dedicated disciples for the past 2 1/3 years in enlisting and training new Vaishnavas. Everyone has become extremely enthusiastic about this idea, especially since 114 new devotees joined at New Dwarka in the last 2 years. Wow. Which is well over 6 times the number for the previous 2 year period, which was lacking such direct efforts. As your divine grace has instructed us, we are trying to study this philosophy with penetration and learn to present it from many angles of vision. Also, for the new brahmacharis, our training schedule is completely packed from raising at 3 a.m. to resting at 9:20 p.m. with 5 regular classes from the Shastras and 3 readings during Prasad and after Harinam Sankirtan Party. Wow, this is superb. Full engagement. The lifestyle is simple. The thinking high, the results encouraging, and future bright. The name for the program has come to be known as the Bhakta program. And we see this as a tremendous means for increasing the transit book distribution, as well as solidifying our growing ISKCON. Urged by respected godbrothers, we have begun issuing a fortnightly circular called the Bhakta program newsletter, which is sent to all temple presidents and GBC secretaries. We have humbly submitted herewith the first 3 newsletters and beg your forgiveness if by not sending them earlier we have committed any offense. Our hope is that such a regular communication media will enliven centers all over the globe to establish such organized Bhakta programs. As a result of such Bhakta programs, we have witnessed tremendous spiritual upliftment for the whole community in Los Angeles and now in London and Bhaktivedanta Manor too. In response, Srila Prabhupada wrote that the Bhakta program is very nice. More from that letter. Increase your program for bringing new men to live in Krishna consciousness. We can invite anyone to come and stay with us for 3 days, and we shall supply room and board. In that time, however, he should rise early and attend our programs. After 3 days, if he likes, he can stay with us permanently, become shaven-headed, engage as we requested, and we shall take care of all his necessities. Yes, your plan to have all temple presidents report the scores on new men recruited is approved by me. You can keep count which temple is recruiting the most men, just as they keep count on the book distribution. Oh Krishna. Nowadays, we don't see this count of people joining temples. The count of book distribution is there, but count of people joining temples, that's not being told. But soon the Bhakta programs were flourishing worldwide. Oh, Soon Bhakta programs were flourishing worldwide. However, specific to Bombay, Srila Prabhupada pointed out that there was no need for new devotees because our general temple program was meant for new devotees. Anyone could join, attend the temple program, and make spiritual advancement. Srila Prabhupada wrote, what is this new Bhakta program? We have the same program for everyone, even all devotees alike. What special program is required for new Bhaktas? Also specific to Bombay, concerning the new Bhakta program, unless one is educated, we should not admit anyone and everyone without discrimination. One who has got culture and education can be accepted. Yeah, actually Maharaj didn't mention here, but I just wanted to tell that His Holiness Dhanvir Maharaj has written a book based on for the Bhakta program. Does anybody know what is the name of the book? I know the name of the book, but I just wanted to ask.
No, Prabhu.
The Matajis, they know what is the name of the book? Dhanvir Maharaj's book for the Bhakta program. It is Fortunate Souls. Next time I can get that book to show you. It's Fortunate Souls, very beautiful book. Okay, it's a very thick, big book. It's like our any other. Yeah, just like Moon and Mission book. Moon Mission second volume is like that. That book, 900 pages book, 1000 pages. Okay, Shamsara Prabhu, you can read.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. 6. Traveling Sankirtana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had traveled widely to spread his Sankirtana movement, and Srila Prabhupada continued and promoted this tradition. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may take this movement seriously and broadcast it throughout the world from village to village and from town to town, just as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself did. Traveling and preaching, that is the Sankirtana movement. Touring and preaching along with Sankirtana party is our actual mission. This traveling Sankirtana party is really Lord Chaitanya's movement, and when Krishna sees his men preaching in this way, he becomes very pleased. Especially from 1968 to 1970, before the era of mass book distribution, Srila Prabhupada often spoke about his long cherished idea for a world Sankirtan party of 25 or so devotees who would travel the world performing Kirtana at prestigious venues. The purpose of the World Sankirtana Party will be to establish a center in each and every city and village of the world. The World Sankirtana Party means to establish a center everywhere we go. I do not mean a concert party or musical party that may go to a city, have some performances, and collect some money without any permanent effect. For this purpose, the World Sankirtana Party should consist of members who can impress spiritual ecstasy in the hearts of the people so that some of them may come forward and agree to establish a center where the Sankirtana Party may go on continually. There is no doubt about our success if we can make this Kirtana party successful. The most important point in this connection is that we shall never be professional. That is to say, we shall try to make the Kirtana party perfect from the point of view of Krishna consciousness. The idea of introducing Panchatattva in the Kirtana party was also contemplated by me. Not only that, we have to prepare different dresses for Radha and Krishna and their 8 confidential associates, Sakhis. Sometimes you have to dress somebody as Nrsimhadeva and Prahlada. In this way, we shall have varieties of shows along with Kirtan, and all the varieties will be picked from the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. We have to teach the brahmacharis and brahmacharinis to speak some of the verses in Sanskrit and explain the verses by singing, chanting, and speaking also. Sometimes, in the middle of chanting and singing, we shall speak also. All these varieties of shows will be so attractive with melodious musical sounds, and above all, our good behavior and advanced Krishna consciousness will make this show very successful. Although it is not immediately possible to have a permanent temple in every town and village, Srila Prabhupada reasoned it is possible to bring a mobile temple to many of them. You mentioned that people are not very eager to go to temples, but with your program, you are bringing the temples to the people. Yes, this is a very important point. You have picked up this idea very nicely of bringing the temples to the people. In this way, you will give everyone the opportunity to step in the direction back to Godhead, back to home. In the early 1970s, devotees started traveling in buses for preaching. When in 1971 Srila Prabhupada got news of a traveling Sankirtana party, he referred to it as his long cherished dream. He endorsed this as more practical and efficient preaching than establishing temples. Instead of, instead of increasing the temples and deity worship, Amsatuda in Germany has increased the Sankirtana parties. He is running 8 new buses and distributing large quantities of literature. This is more important. Moving temple means through bus going from one place to another. That is better. From one temple, they go from village to village, town to town. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally did not establish any temple. He was moving, stressing that the traveling party is most important, even more than new centers. Srila Prabhupada insisted that the traveling Sankirtana party must go on. It was a point he consistently made, especially in relation to small towns. You mentioned that you will open centers, many centers. I don't think there is a need to open many more centers in your country. To manage centers requires many men. So unless we have got many men, this idea will not be very fruitful. Better if there are a few important centers and traveling parties for the smaller towns and villages, going and coming back like this. We should not open more centers at this time, especially in the smaller cities. It is better to go there with traveling Sankirtana parties. He enthusiastically encouraged such programs in the West, both for school preaching and festivals. I very much like these bus programs. They are greatly increasing the scope of our book distribution, and many new men are being attracted. The traveling Sankirtana party and teaching in the schools and colleges which you are organizing is an excellent proposal, and I think that this is the best program for pushing on Lord Chaitanya's movement. Simply traveling and preaching and infiltrating the schools where young boys and girls are interested to learn something which will satisfy them. In both activities, you may distribute many of our literatures, and that will please me very much. Your traveling party may move from country to country as the weather permits. This program is very, very pleasing to me. The following letter captures the method and spirit of these traveling parties and Srila Prabhupada's deep satisfaction with them. I am very glad to hear from you the wonderful news of traveling party in England. I think the people of that place are becoming more and more inclined for this Krishna consciousness movement. They are inviting you to stay at their houses, taking books, sometimes becoming devotees. All these are very encouraging signs to me. If you simply go on in this way, stopping in every village and city of England, Scotland, or other places like Ireland, simply stop for some time, distribute books, and hold a Sankirtana procession, answer their questions, give some leaflets or small information freely, and distribute prasada wherever possible, at least some small thing. And if there is genuine interest, And if there is genuine interest being shown, then request the townspeople to arrange some engagements for speaking in their schools or in someone's home or a hall like that. In this way, remain always without anxiety for destination and comfortable situation, always relying only on the mercy of Krishna for your plan. Just go on preaching his message and selling his books wherever there is interest. We shall not waste We shall not waste time if there is no interest or if the people are unfriendly. There are so many places to go. But I understand from your letter that practically everyone is taking some interest. That means you are presenting the thing in a very nice manner. They can detect that here are some persons who are actually sincere and nice. Let me hear them. Let me purchase one book.
Today, one instance happened in me for with me during books. One person took the book and he gave me $50, and I gave him somewhat some books. He asked for small book. I gave him one book and he gave me $50. Seeing his because he gave me $50, so I gave him some big book. And he saw me, oh, he's giving me so many books. So maybe the money is less. He gave another $50 to me,
Mhm.
and he gave in that way he gave me $100.
Oh.
And seeing that $100, I thought, oh, he gave me $100. Then why I took that small, I took another small bundle. I gave another Chaitanya Charitamrita set, and he gave another 50. So, so like that, yesterday I distributed one Chaitanya Charitamrita set. I mean, that's the way it is happening here.
Mm.
Two times, three times it happened, and yeah, it's very nice.
Nice, Prabhu.
Yes.
I can understand that it is not an easy matter to travel extensively over long periods of time without proper food, rest, and sometimes it must be very cold there also. And still, because you are getting so much enjoyment, spiritual enjoyment from it, it seems like play to you. That is advanced stage of spiritual life, never attained by even the greatest yogis and so-called jnanis. But let any man see our devotees working so hard for Krishna, then let anyone say that they are not better than any millions of so called yogis and transcendentalists. That is my challenge. Because you are rightly understanding through your personal realization this philosophy of Krishna consciousness, therefore, in such a short time, you have surpassed all the stages of the yoga processes and come to the highest point of surrendering to Krishna. That I can very much appreciate. Thank you very much for helping me in this way. Upon seeing a bus retrofitted for preaching in Australia, Srila Prabhupada became so enlivened that he encouraged devotees in Europe to start a similar program there, which he stated would make us famous all over the world.
Yeah. Even we are distributing, I'm distributing every day in one place. Some few devotees are distributing here and there, but still we hear devotees saying, people saying every time that I see you guys everywhere distributing books. Many a times from many people, I see your guys there, I see you guys there. So it's yeah, sometimes people get fried also. So yesterday, one person, one lady, she's a young lady. She studies. She's a student from India, uh, and no, and I asked her, okay, take the book. Then she said she wants to give donation for $5. Then I said, okay, if you're giving five, you can give 11 if you want, if you don't mind. Okay, then she said okay for that. And then she gave
Mhm.
me the $11 and I gave the book, and I was going on with my this one. And another of his friend came, uh, and he said, "Yeah, I'm a Brahmin, and I go to temple." He's also a student along with her, and he said, "I'm
Mhm.
a Brahmin, and I go to. I went to ISKCON temple in some place. I know, and I have it anyhow. I don't need this," I said. Okay, anyhow, and then they left. After a few time, after 10, 20 minutes, this guy whom I spoke, he came with that book and he said, you put that lady in spot, and you forced her, demanded her $11. She wanted to give $5. You're unnecessarily looting people, demanding. Just for $5, they're making a big scene out of it. And I said, I didn't demand anything. I requested for another $5 and she gave. But if she is not interested, then she should have told no. And I didn't put any spot. I requested her and she gave. Uh, but and he was shouting, you can't demand people money. Whatever they give, you should. Krishna is not telling, or Bhagavad Gita is not telling that to demand people money. You're so money consciousness. You're not reaching anything. Became so angry. So like that also will happen. Just for $5, we became so
Mm,
much, so much of bitterness has gone into him. Although he said so many things about ISKCON, he went there, he went here, but all that he forgot. Just he's there in his mind. Although I was requesting him, I was again talking humbly, but he is like he doesn't have any maryada or respect for the
mm,
sadhus, nothing. As if we are standing over there, just for the sake of as a salesman. No, but they don't have people. Some people they don't know what is meant by a sadhu, because their parents never tell them what how to behave with the sadhu, how they don't know, they have not heard. They think that people are just marketing some things. It's all word jugglery, they think, because so many people juggle words on the Instagram, and when we speak also, we also speak like that. So they think that it is word jugglery. But Prabhupada said you have to distribute books. We have to say some things in such a way which is somewhat I immediately recognize people. He is from Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, at least Malayalis. I can recognize people, and the people become a little bit surprised. How do you know that I am from Bengal? How do you know I am from Kerala? How do you know I am from Andhra? How do you know I am from Tamil Nadu? So easily I just pick the direct line and then I speak in their native language and they become surprised. And this lady was
mm,
also
mm, mm,
from particular language and I told her and she became, how do you know I am from this? And then she became a little bit surprised and we spoke and then I gave the book. See, we do all these things just to get their attention and then give the book. We are not after all these things. But people think that that is the way to loot them or something like that. Yeah, this negativity is there, and because of which many devotees get pissed off. I approached one senior devotee in Vrindavan. I remember Mothers and Masters book. As we distribute to outsiders, I approached him. And this senior devotee, I don't want to take his name, I don't want to tell whose disciple is he, but he's very prominent devotee. He takes classes also. He's a guru, I think. Oh, we should not say all these things. But he became so pissed off and he gave a class of 10 minutes for me because I accepted humbly. He said that, why are you just pushing the book and then coming and then paving? Why are you doing all these things? If you just stand or sit in your place, people will not come to you. And I know Prabhupada writing to him pages and pages that he doesn't sync with Prabhupada and all those things. I don't want to say all those things, but who is he? I don't want to say that. But Prabhupada wrote him a letter that no, you don't accept what my program is. You have your own program, and still now he has his own program, and he's a good devotee. He's very senior devotee. I should not. I respected him in that way, and I accepted his this one. But yeah, you get sometimes from many senior old devotees also. Many times I got even from juniors. Many a times I got. Many a times. So it is like that. So many women devotees. They get pissed off and they shout, yell at like anything. uh, Mataji's, I'm saying. So we had experience of distributing mothers and masters, and I got, at least I didn't get beatings. It was till that end actually it happened. I had a big fight with one Mataji who is very famous on YouTube nowadays. So big quarrel. I remember, and I was not listening, and she was also not listening. But this is the way it goes. Book distribution means it's like that. You get bitter things. We can't adjust ourselves for just because people don't like it or people want to tone down or something. It's not that I should not demand. Many a times I asked. Yesterday I distributed one book to a person who is looking alike like Satya Nadella. He is exactly a copy. He looks exactly like Satya Nadella. I told him, hey, you look like Satya Nadella. So first time I saw him, I told him, and he was just running. Yeah, 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 yeah. Second, yesterday I saw him. I told, you look like Satya Nadella. Do you know? Yeah, many people show. I didn't see Satya Nadella personally, but I saw his pictures. We both resemble same. He is little bit stout, but he is little bit thin, but he looks exactly the same. His specs, his laughing, his eyes,
Mm.
everything are the same. And I complimented him. And from that, he's a cardiologist. And
Oh.
because in that way I spoke and I gave him science of civilization. I told him, can you please, what you are? And I said, he's a cardiologist. Oh, I want to give you this book. And I gave science of civilization. I showed the conversation with Prabhupada with the cardiologist,
Mm.
Dr. William, his name is. And then how Prabhupada explains about the soul research. And he was so impressed and he took the book and he gave $50. And he said, any of you are giving 50, you can give 108. He said, "Oh, that's fine." And he didn't give 108, but he said he didn't get pissed off. He said, yeah, it's your responsibility to ask. It's your duty to ask. It's okay. Next time I'll give more because I already took so many books. And I gave him one Arabic book. He said there are so many Arabs who come to his temple, and he took the Arabic book also. I mean, he gave $50 and he didn't want any book. He took one science of religion. I gave one Arabic book. I'm saying, people, so many people. I asked, one Mataji, I asked, she said she wants to give $300. And she said, I wanted to give 400. Okay, if you're giving 400, you can give 500. And she is very happy to give 500. She gave 500, took Bhagavatam, and she took Chaitanya Charitamrita, she took other books. It's like whole set of, 10, 18, around 20, 25, 30 books she took. I'm saying
Oh.
that people are ready to give if you ask in a humble way, but some people will be
Mm.
pissed off. You
Mm.
can't, you can't. You can't satisfy everyone in the temple, everyone. Even Guru Maharaj is speaking, so many disciples get pissed off. What to speak of me. I'm just a small soul. Guru Maharaj is speaking, and so many disciples get pissed off. There are at least some disciples are there who don't like Guru Maharaj speaking all these things. So I know very clearly there are few devotees. Why Guru Maharaj is speaking like this? Why Gopal Chandra is speaking like this? Why like this? Why? They have this ranting problem. So those who offend like this, they will never become devotees. They may fall down also from their position. So we have to be very careful. So it happens. It happens with Matajis, it happens with Prabhujis, it happens with Brahmacharis, it happens with Sannyasis, it happens with everybody. So we have to go on with our preaching. That's all. There is no other way. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji, continue.
Yes, bro. Here in Australia, they have got a double-decker bus, like you have seen in the London streets. They have painted it very brightly, and as it moves, there is a Kirtana party chanting very loudly inside. And on the top floor, there is a sleeping space and a kitchen. On the whole, it is so nice that I am suggesting to Dayananda that he supply you and Krishnadasa with information how you may purchase such buses in London and drive them all over Europe. These Hare Krishna movement buses will make us famous all over the world. I'm enclosing one photo of their Australian bus in Sydney. In the same happy vein, Srila Prabhupada declared, I think 100 buses are not sufficient for America. The following martial analogy also expresses his immense satisfaction with this program. When I hear about the Sankirtana buses that are moving all over the world, then I think that we are becoming like a gigantic guerrilla warfare movement fighting with Maya. This traveling in buses is the best means to drive away Maya and establish Krishna consciousness all over the world. Starting from the early 1970s, traveling in parties dedicated exclusively to book distribution. Book distribution increasingly became the main engagement of most brahmacharis in the Western world, and Srila Prabhupada confirmed that the traveling party idea is the best method for distributing our literatures widely. The Radha Damodara traveling Sankirtana party, with buses and vans crisscrossing the United States, became legendary among devotees for distributing literally hundreds of thousands of books and magazines.
Uh, Nowadays, I don't know in some of the corners of ISKCON and some of the devotees, there is a great misconception among devotees that Prabhupada started this or Prabhupada made this book distribution service among Westerners just to engage them, and it has nothing to do with just to spread Krishna consciousness in the West. And as far as India is concerned, we have a different program like that. People have a thinking. They make like that, and it is book distribution. They like Prabhupada likes it. They do it as a finale, just a marathon on or on festivals. That's all. Otherwise, every temple they don't have like a. Of course, they have party book distribution party, but their attitude mood is not like that of that book distribution will change the world order. Through book distribution we can conquer the world. That particular mood and attitude is not there among devotees, and we see some cynical terms or the sentences or the statements from devotees. It is like they have one statement being told, but there is underlying layers of misunderstanding going on within their minds, and that is what they preach, and that is what comes out in different manners. But these people, those who speak all these things, they become famous among the devotees. And over a period of time, actually, book distribution through them is zero, but they become big devotees as far as the books which are distributed very hard by devotees. They are not in the limelight, but those books which they cram through, sit and read, and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. They become as if they are preachers. They are become as if they are the big book distributors. I know. Remember that stating that one devotee was giving classes after classes, and I told that devotee, why don't you come and distribute books? What is this classes after classes after classes? You just join now. There is no need to give any classes much. Just come and distribute books. What is the big thing?
Mhm.
And the followers got pissed off. Why? His guru is there. That's fine. Yeah, we are not to say to him, but as we see that many devotees, especially few temples, these big. I'm I am so much against this Instagram following and big, having a big mic before me. Actually, many devotees told me, why don't you do so many Instagram videos, this, that, and all? But I will become more or less like them in one point of time. Speaking big things. Uh, Previously, it was not like that. They were doing book distribution for few years, like Radheshyam Prabhu. He was doing book distribution for a few years, and then he became slowly started youth preaching and everything. But nowadays it's not like that. They come to brahmachari ashram, they have some brahmachari training program. In that they do some book distribution. That's all. Whole life they will become as if they are big acharyas. They have come just to uplift the whole world. Matajis, Prabhujis, the grahastas, they become so attached. Oh, Prabhuji, I like your classes a lot. What a shlokas you are saying, Prabhu. Oh, Prabhu. Hey, Papa, he has not done any. He may be speaking on Bhagavatam. Just tell him to take Bhagavatam in the road and then to distribute. He may not distribute even one book also. People are very happy like that. So, but we
Mm.
are not against his classes and all those things. But this attitude of thinking, they will not say. At one point, once it happened like that. Once it happened in Mayapur, there was so many devotees. Youth came to Mayapur. I was there in Mayapur, and they were just sitting, and all they were young people. And I told them to lift the table and put in another place.
Mm.
And this devotee who is famous among YouTube, is very famous on Bhagavad, giving Bhagavatam classes. He was just passing through that. He's he's not direct disciple, direct his followers or anything like that. In his diaspora, in his group or yatra, they are. And he became so tense with that. Hey, you're distributing these books? It was Bhakti Vikas Maharaj books. Hey, you're distributing these books?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
He became like that. He became so paranoid. And I told him, no, they're not distributing these books. He is just helping them. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I immediately understood, oh, such a cynical mentality. They get exposed. Actually, that will happen only when we scrutinizingly hear their lectures. I don't generally hear their lectures. I don't at all hear their lectures. Never. But sometimes I catch this one. I can catch their that wordings, the way they are saying. Oh, it is not at all good. It is all underlying. Actually, it is layers and layers because those who distribute books, the years and years, and then they come to Krishna consciousness, they become a temple president or they become big, they become fixed up in some service as a temple construction or anything. If you hear Gokul Chandra Prabhu, it's not like that because he was 8 years, 9 years, he did book distribution. So having a book distribution, having some this book distribution, that's why it is very, very important. Like, for example, Radhakund Mataji, Yeshomati Nandan Prabhu's wife, she is very fixed up on book distribution. She's very fixed up. Very, 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 very fixed up. Although she had so many problems with the family, this, that, and all, but always she is on books. Always, always. You see her in Vrindavan, always she is on books. She always speaks on books. So that type of devotees, there are very few like that nowadays. We don't see like that. Unless and until one has interest for book distribution, it's not that they are for book distribution. That is what is seen, and it is very, very dangerous for the devotees, those who are becoming like so-called followers of these so-called YouTube big speakers, Instagram speakers. And I very much challengingly, I can tell that these devotees who are very famous among the YouTubes nowadays, sitting very nice, telling stories after stories, they have never distributed. They might have distributed few books here and there, but that mentality of distributing books, that mentality of having connection with Prabhupada, having connection with the lines of Prabhupada, purports of Prabhupada, it is in a different level, and the understanding is entirely different. It doesn't come just like that, just because you're chanting Hare Krishna. No, it doesn't come like that. If you see Maharaj, he was so many years. There is no time that Maharaj doesn't relate with distributing books. Every time some other anecdote he can tell. Because 40 years before, 50 years before, he distributed books. But he remembers the nook and corner of the Gauri Day, he gave one lecture and he told two, three anecdotes of book distribution, how he distributed Chaitanya Charitamrita sets when he was young, distributing books in London. I mean, this is what we want. So those who know it, know it. Those who don't know, they don't know. It is what it is. Period. That's all. Mm, okay, Prabhu. What's the time?
Okay, bro.
Oh, 10. Okay. Village preaching. Village to village was a term Srila Prabhupada often used in relation to his desires for preaching. Even before journeying to the West, he envisaged traveling parties for village to village preaching. The moving Sankirtan party was programmed long ago, even when I was in India. When there was talk about preaching among our godbrothers, I used to say to my godbrothers that when I would begin preaching, I should I should take two trucks, one for Sankirtan party and one for carrying requisites. And I would go from village to village throughout the whole world preaching. Lord Chaitanya's message. So the time has come, as per my dream, by the grace of Krishna, you are carrying on this program. Please therefore organize this moving Sankirtan party as you are already doing from one school to college to another. In 1971, accompanied by several Western disciples, Srila Prabhupada actualized his desire for preaching, village preaching in India. We have recently been preaching and holding Sankirtan in some villages, small villages, and the result is very good. The simple villagers are very much attracted by the Sankirtan process and they join with us very nicely and listen attentively. Because this village preaching is not sufficiently done in, at least in southern states, in Kerala, in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, most of the villages are hijacked by Christians, missionaries. In every village, even a remotest village nowadays, you can find a Pentecostal church or a Hoisannas church or a or any church for that matter. There are so many Lutherans and Pentecostals, Syrians. They are preaching like anything. CSI and Christian Society of India. They're preaching so much that it has reached the remotest village, and people are becoming Christians like anything because we are not preaching. We are feeding the poor in the cities, uh, and all the all the people in and around Delhi. They are becoming Christians. They are becoming Muslims. We are not going to any Sankirtan. Uh, only one All India Padayatra is there. That's all. Actually, this should be done in every village. In Gujarat, they are doing it very nicely. They have like this the same. They have one full truck for they have one tractor full for prerequisites, another for books. So they are doing it very nicely. Harishwaridas recalls, continuing to read. In 1975, Srila Prabhupada wanted to organize some bus programs for India to do mass Sankirtan Prasad distribution and book distribution. If we go out and preach now, within 1 year, we can make all of India Krishna conscious. He said, at least for 1 year, let us try and concentrate our efforts with these village to village programs. Then we can make the whole place Krishna conscious in very short time. So this village to village program was another indication for preaching in India. Preaching was always thinking that this, that, that was the way to preach in India because 80% of the population are in the villages, not in the big cities. So although we have our big centers, still there's much work required to be done. It's not just that we have a big temple and everybody will automatically come, but we also have to go out and go to the villages. That is where the real preaching is. He is very eager for this. He was very eager for this. Several village programs have been arranged, and Srila Prabhupada is very enthusiastic. He stressed the importance of preaching in the villages, telling Hamsaduta, Harikesha, and me that he had a long cherished desire to preach from village to village in India. Prior to coming to the West, he was unable to do it, but now he is getting the opportunity to fulfill his desire. Heading to a village in India, in the cars, Prabhupada talked enthusiastically about village to village preaching. He is eager to see this program established and said that mass propaganda of Sankirtan and Prasad distribution will save India. He said that if programs are arranged, he will travel in his new car, taking a dozen men all around Gujarat to every village. When asked, how can we move fast in India to spread our Krishna consciousness? Srila Prabhupada replied, if we go village to village people are still pure, at least not so polluted as the town people, especially the so-called educated. You see, Prabhupada still has that mentality that educated people are polluted. So education pollutes. Actually, modern education is more polluted than anything. Not the maths, physics, chemistry per se, not the syllabus, but the way it is being portrayed and the way it is being told and the way it is being synced in the youth. And I could realize it when I read Prabhupada's books. When I first had fight with my first leader, I understood that the modern education is polluting me because I didn't had any maryada for seniors or elders or anything like that. We can tell anything and everything for the seniors. Now also you can see I'm putting it so much on it should not be done actually. So we should be very tolerant and we should be. It's all because of modern education thoughts. We can't tolerate some things. We can't. We don't have the capacity to become silent without speaking a word. Even everybody is like that. Man is like that. Women are like that. And, Vitanda Vadana is very famous among devotees nowadays. Among people, some Christians they come and they don't know where to argue and how to argue, and they bring up some point which is no way connection, even if they are being told. So it is all because of modern education and modern ideology, modern ideas. This whole modernity is actually antithetical for Krishna consciousness. And at the same time, Prabhupada's books are English. What to do? So that's why basic English is sufficient. Um, but mm, uh, if it is bolstered with Prabhupada's books, and we understand that you have to leave modern education, modern ideas, and all these things, and just stick to what Prabhupada is telling in his English, that's sufficient. Otherwise, we should not bring any modern ideas inside. It will spoil the. Of course, we can take whatever is good, but we have to consult the spiritual master before taking anything good from the modern society, because modern society doesn't have anything good. It's very hard to see anything good. It has something, just like in United States, everything has some other violent. Even banana in United States has a big history. How this banana ended up in United States like this? If you just go to Google and just type banana massacre, there is so much is there, so much. Everything in United States has a big history as to how it ended up in United States. Even the very countries has a big history of massacre, killings, and all those things. So what to speak of? So it is very cynical place, and people cannot see that. So we have to give eyes to them. Only Prabhupada's books are the savior. Otherwise, United States or UK or China or Japan or even India, it is very dangerous place nowadays. Okay, anyhow. In another conversation, I will just finish this slide, this paragraph, and then stop it. Another conversation in India, we have got tremendous business. Village to village, distribute these books and Sankirtan. Chant Hare Krishna and distribute prasad. Srila Prabhupada was prepared to himself. Srila Prabhupada was prepared to himself move from village to village along with some selected assistants and organize this farming and village development program. And when Hamsadutta Das sent a letter with photos of new Mercedes buses for rural preaching in India, Srila Prabhupada responded enthusiastically, "Yes, with great pleasure, I will accompany and we shall go village to village." Okay, we'll stop here and we'll meet tomorrow at this time. Until then, if anybody has anything to say or ask, they can ask. Otherwise, I stop here.
Prabhu, these bus programs are happening in United States or anywhere in the world?
They are there. There is one Harinam party, Harinam Ruchi, Harinam Mandir. If you go and there is a big bus in the Russian devotees, they go from there is when I was reading, Prabhupada was telling me, why don't you travel all over the world, do kirtan and distribute books? There is one Harinam Ruchi. There is a party called Harinam Ruchi. They do kirtans in all over the world, and by the time it becomes Gaur Purnima, they come to Mayapur and they travel all over the world. They travel in London, they travel in Australia, Malaysia, the United States, everywhere they travel. Harinam Ruchi is very famous. I think they travel more in Europe and Russia because it is more near and easy to travel. And in Australia and New Zealand, they travel. Harinam Ruchi, Harinam Mandir. There are so many Russian devotees who travel and distribute books. There's so many. One of our devotees, Prabhupada is there, Advaita, and his brother Amayatma. So they travel and distribute books. There's so many devotees. They travel and distribute books. Gauranga Prem, there is one of our godbrother in Russia. He travels with Harinam Ruchi or Harinam Mandir, and he is also a nice Kirtaniya. He's distributing books. So he's there. I don't know whether he's a brahmachari now or not, but he used to be there. I also met him in like that. So many devotees are there. There was one Arjun Prabhu, Maharaj disciple from Russia. He used to distribute books in India. There's so many devotees. The Maharaj, when sometimes while lectures, he will tell some devotees, "You remember we were traveling. You remember." So like that, he used to tell to Gokul Chandra Prabhu and some other devotees, senior devotees. And so with Maharaj, so many devotees were traveling. Even Vedasara Prabhupada, here there is one temple president, Vedasara Prabhu, he used to travel with Maharaj. So I mean, there are so many devotees travel with Maharaj distributing books. So Maharaj has traveled length and breadth of India like anything. He was traveling in Andhra Pradesh in the rural areas, like there's so many photos, old photos. They were doing it. Nowadays, in India, it is not so famous. Traveling Sankirtan party distributing books. Only Westerners are doing it. Indians are not doing it. They are confined to their temples and they go travel. That's there, but it is just to distribute and increase their book scores. I mean, money making, like it's different. The atmosphere, the attitude. Actually, somehow I joined in here, but my mood is like it's like 1970s and all. Oh, that is we are missing a lot. Of course, hearing from Maharaj, hearing on this one. But we are missing really that mood. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Radha Damodar Sangeet, traveling Sangeetan party. That mood is entirely different. Salem we used to do. We used to go. We used to go to Rajapalayam, Shivakasi, everywhere. There were so many remote places we went. And we used to come after 1 month, 2 months of book distribution, come back to Salem and have nice classes, have nice kirtans, have nice prasad, and then again go back for another 1, 2 months. So we were doing it. At least for 2, 3 years, I was doing it, and then individual book distribution. It's different. Yeah, it's going on.
Okay.
Some gangsters are doing it even in United States. There are some at least 2, 3 couples. They live on books. They travel and distribute books. They have their own van and Mataji. They have the kid also. They're doing it.
Wow.
It's very surprising. At least 1 or 2 couples are there. They travel and distribute books, and they have a kid, and but they are doing it very nicely. In US, it is a different atmosphere. It is like you have facilities. You have like you don't get tired so much by traveling and all. There is no so much dust and roads are like superb roads. There is no not like India, so you can park. There are restrooms. Of course, on the side by side, there are so many problems because of some people coming and robbing you and all those things. Some things happen here and there, but there's so much of security and so much of. And if you don't go to certain states like Minnesota, Michigan, or some states are better to avoid them because there's so many Somalians and all those places. But in general, this whole country, it's very very good for distributing books, traveling and distributing. It's like superb. There's so many facilities. There's so many travel you can get so many things. You can sleep. There's so many places available. It's different compared to India. Yes. Okay.
Okay, bro.
And somebody has sent a message, direct message. Your voice is low, Prabhuji. Oh, my voice is low now?
No, it was clear to me.
Yeah, maybe it's for some time in between. Yeah. So we will stop here and we'll meet tomorrow.
Okay, bro.
Okay, bro. Hare Krishna. Mancha Kalpataru Vishta Kripa Sindhi Vacha Paditanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जगत गुरु श्री
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की जय, हिज
Jai.
होलिनेस भक्ति विकास स्वामी महाराज की जय.
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.